Good evening, everyone. We are calling to order the City Council special meeting. Do we necessarily need to have a roll call? I guess we do, because we're going to be taking a motion tonight. So, roll call, please. And please don't forget that you need to state the city and the county that you are in. State the city, county, and state.
Roll call. Mayor Garrett.
Here in Lathrup Village, Michigan, Oakland County.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor.
Present here in Harbor Springs, Michigan, Emmett County.
Councilmember Ferguson.
Present, Oakland County, Michigan, Lathrop Village.
Councilmember Siddiqui.
Here, Lathrop Village, Michigan, Oakland County.
And Councilmember Stallings. Madam Mayor, you have a quorum.
Very much. Seeing that this is a official special meeting, are we going to be doing a excused absence motion for Councilwoman Stallings? I'm sorry,
I'll make a motion to excuse Councilwoman Stallings.
Have we heard from her? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Roll call. Mayor Pro Tem Cantor.
Yes.
Councilmember Ferguson.
Yes.
Councilmember Siddiqui.
Yes.
And Mayor Garrett.
Yes.
Motion to excuse Councilmember Stallings approved.
Thank you. First up on the discussion item.
Actually, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda.
We actually need a motion to approve the agenda and then ask if there's any amendments.
Yeah.
So I'm just going by, just to let everyone know that I do know how to run the meetings, is that I'm just going by the document that is right in front of me that was prepared for me for the meeting today. So can we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none.
Well, the motion should have been to approve the agenda with the added item D.
Okay. Yeah, I thought you confused me, Scott. I thought you wanted us to do it separately. Yeah, so I'll make a motion to approve the agenda, adding item D, which would be the to approve the engagement letters for the bond advisor.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Roll call. Councilmember Siddiqui.
Yes.
Councilmember Ferguson.
Yes.
Mayor Garrett.
Yes.
And Mayor Pro Tem Cantor.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Going forward, what was on the discussion items for A is a presentation from the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission. Julianne, is it Pastula, General Counsel?
Yes, thank you so much, Mayor Garrett. May I share my screen?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Oh, maybe not.
I should have told you I'm not the controller of the screen though.
I had confidence that everything was going to be taken care of immediately.
We can see it.
Perfect. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Cantor. Good evening. My name is Julianne Pastula. I serve as General Counsel for the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission, also known as the MICRC. I reside in Wayne County, Michigan, so it's thrilling to be participating in an Oakland County meeting tonight. I'd like to recognize and thank Mayor Garrett, Mayor Pro Tem Cantor, Council members Ferguson and Siddiqui, as well as the guests for this opportunity to provide public comments to about the MICRC, excuse me. Thank you also to Dr. Mitchell for coordinating the presentation. Let's get started. In 2018, Michigan voters passed Proposal 2, which took the responsibility for redistricting Michigan from the legislative commissions to an independent citizens commission, which is comprised of 13 Michiganders, 4 Democrats, 4 Republicans, and 5 independents. The MICRC is now responsible under the Michigan Constitution for redistricting the congressional seats, Michigan House, and the Michigan Senate districts. To ensure fair, free, and impartial maps, the MICRC is required to solicit public input before drawing any redistricting plans for the Michigan House, Senate, or congressional districts. This requires a minimum of 10 public hearings to be held across the state. And the commission to date has been discussing these public hearing dates and locations, and they are in fact looking at holding in excess of 10 public hearings, which is exciting. The purpose for the public hearings per the Michigan Constitution is threefold. It's to inform the public about the redistricting process, to share the purpose and responsibilities of the commission. Again, it's a significant shift from how this was done in the past in the state of Michigan, and also to solicit information from the public about potential redistricting plans. In conclusion, I would like to state that the commission and staff welcome all ideas as well as the ideas of your residents to increase awareness and engagement on the redistricting process. You can send comments to redistricting@michigan.gov or mail them to the MICRC at P.O. Box 30318, Lansing, Michigan 48909. You can share public comments at our weekly meetings on Thursday or come and speak during one of our upcoming public hearings. That schedule will be posted on our website, hopefully within the next week or so after the commission adopts that schedule. To learn more information about the MICRC or the upcoming public hearings, please visit www.michigan.gov/MICRC. Thank you again for this opportunity to speak to the residents of Lathrup Village. Thank you very much. And I apologize for my guest all day, nothing.
Okay. Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions?
I'll ask one question. One thing I've been curious about ever since the redistricting was proposed way back when, you know, it's the commission is made up of 4 Democrats, 4 Republicans, 5 independents. I'm just curious, how do you verify, like, for the committee members? How is that verified that somebody who says they're a Democrat is actually a Democrat, independent is actually an independent?
That's an excellent question, Mayor Pro Tem Cantor. So that process was facilitated by the Michigan Department of State. The Secretary of State's office is responsible for receiving the applications and doing that process. So it's an affiliation with a political party or as an independent. So it is a self-reporting on the affidavit and the application is how that came through.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions?
I have a quick question. So, Julianne, does the commission now have the full go-ahead to do this? Because I know there were some challenges before, but has that all been resolved?
So there were, thank you, Councilmember Siddiqui. That's an excellent question as well. So there were challenges to not only the composition, but again, going towards the political affiliation, whether that was an appropriate filter. And the courts have upheld that it can go forward and that it wasn't a restriction on the political exercise. So there's a Sixth Circuit case that's pending, but we're operating, we're moving forward. They're meeting once weekly so far, and we'll have, I believe, 18 proposed public hearings.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? I'm trying to see if there was any questions from the audience, maybe. Nope. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate all the information that you provided to us.
Well, I appreciate all of your time. I know you have a busy agenda, so I'll say good evening and thank you again.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Next, we have the resolution authorizing 2021 unlimited tax general obligation bonds at $5.85 million streets. Who is presenting that?
Well, Mayor and council members, I do believe that the bond advisor as well as the bond attorney are present. And the first resolution is relative to the unlimited tax obligation, general obligation bonds for the 5.85 million for the street projects.
Mayor, I think you need to, this is Bobby Bonzinski. I think you need to allow Pat McGowan and Stephen Haydock into the meeting.
Stephen Haydock is in.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
Okay.
There.
All right. Pat. Okay. Sorry, my mistake.
We might be on a different screen.
Okay.
Who's presenting?
I'll go ahead and start. So just to reintroduce myself, I'm Pat McGowan. I'm the attorney at Miller Canfield that worked with the city over the last year or so to put this proposal together. As you know, the city council approved a ballot proposal that went to the voters in the November election. The voters approved the ballot proposal to authorize the issuance of bonds for various street projects in the city. And that authorization then brings us to the next step, which is for this city council to now actually authorize the issuance of the bonds, which will be issued in the amount approved by the voters, which is $5,845,000. And then the bonds would be sold at a competitive sale, and then the proceeds would be available to pay for the construction projects. So I've also got actually, I think he was there a second ago. There he is, Sean Rucker, my colleague who worked with me on the resolutions. We prepared the resolutions based upon the specifications prepared by your financial advisor, Bobby Benzinski and Stephen Haydock, who are also on the call. Just briefly, what this resolution does, this is the only action item required by the city council left to authorize the issuance and sale of the bonds. It authorizes the bonds to be issued in the full amount and then proceed with a competitive sale. So we'll take bids for the sale of the bonds and then award to the lowest bidder based upon the true interest cost. So this resolution essentially authorizes the city to take the remaining steps to sell the bonds, and then it delegates the authority to various city officials to take actions related to the bonds. So once issued, the mayor and clerk are authorized to sign it, and the city administrator and the city treasurer are also authorized to award the bonds at the sale to the lowest bidder. So this is the last action item related to the authorization. And then if approved, it will allow us to move forward with the next steps, which would be to actually prepare the necessary documents to authorize the sale of the bonds. So I'd be happy to answer any questions about the resolution itself. And then the financial advisors are here to talk about the anything related to the numbers or the process for the sale of the bonds.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Mr. McGowan. Not Gowan, McGowan, sorry. Does anyone have any questions?
Nope.
None? Okay, will anyone be taking a, I'm sorry, I totally lost my screen.
Motion.
I'll move to adopt the resolution authorizing 2021 unlimited tax general obligation bonds for an amount not to exceed $5,845,000 for street improvements.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Roll call. Councilmember Ferguson.
Yes.
Mayor Garrett.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor.
Yes.
And Councilmember Siddiqui.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you very much. Next, we have the resolution authorizing 2020, I'm sorry, I'm doing it again. Resolution authorizing 2021 capital improvement bonds, unlimited tax general obligation at $5.38 million for water and sewer.
I'll just go ahead on that one. So this is the other bond issue that we talked about. The road bonds we just addressed, which were the ones approved by the voters. This is the other bond issue that we started talking about at the end of last year. The city council adopted a notice of intent resolution a couple months ago to authorize the bonds for various improvements. And that's in that list of things. So it's water supply system improvements with replacement mains, water meters, gate valves, hydrants, and service lines. Also some sewer improvements, including tank improvements, force mains, lateral sewers, and then some of the sidewalk, ditch, and drainage improvements that would not be covered by the street bond proposal that we just talked about a few moments ago. This bond issue is authorized to be issued without a vote of the people, and it pledges the limited tax of the city, which means that the city can use other available revenues in order to pay the debt service. So the prior bond issue was authorized and is paid from the debt millage. This one's going to be paid from a combination of other sources, including water and sewer revenues. There was a notice of intent that was published in the newspaper in early January. The resolution, the notice of intent indicated that bonds could be issued without a vote unless a petition was signed by not less than 10% of the registered voters and filed within 45 days. There were some petitions that were circulated and some signatures that were submitted to the city clerk's office at the beginning of last week, but there were not sufficient signatures to satisfy the 10% threshold. And also after reviewing the petition forms did not meet the requirements under Michigan law to be a valid petition. So those referendum petitions were not valid, and the city can move forward with the sale of the bonds for this purpose. This bond is on a similar timetable in the sense that the bond resolution authorizes the bonds to be issued and sold at a competitive sale. It could be sold on the same day as the road bond project, although they're two different bond sales. And like that, when this resolution authorizes various city officials to take all the necessary actions related to the sale of the bonds, which includes mayor and clerk signing various documents, and the city administrator and the city treasurer, assistant city administrator being authorized to award the sale of the bonds to the low bidder. So this action item would be the last action by the city council related to the bond issue itself. And then we would then be authorized to proceed with the necessary steps to obtain ratings and official statements and everything else that needs to happen in order for the bonds to be sold in the next couple months. So with that, I'll stop talking and answer any questions that people may have about this resolution or the capital improvement bonds.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions or concerns? Okay, hearing none. Is anyone going to make a motion for the resolution?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution authorizing the 2021 capital improvement bonds, which are unlimited tax general obligation bonds in an amount not to exceed $5.38 million for water and sewer and public infrastructure related projects.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, just want to reiterate that we did get the residents did exercise their right of referendum, and we will receive at a subsequent council meeting. We'll officially receive the petitions. That'll happen, I think, at our March 15th meeting.
Patrick, you'd mentioned that the petitions weren't valid. Was there like, why weren't they valid? Or were they all not valid, or were just some not valid?
Sure. So that's a good question. So there's two things that need to happen in order for the petition to be a valid referendum petition. First, there needs to be a necessary number of signatures of registered voters. And the threshold requirement in the law is that the petitions have to be signed by at least 10% of the registered voters of the city. So according to the city clerk's records, there were 3,918 registered voters in the November election. So 10% of that number would be requiring 392 signatures. So what was submitted were a bunch of different petition forms that were signed, and the total, even if they were all valid, only added up to about 202 signatures. So right there, they didn't meet the threshold number. The other thing is that the petition form has to meet the requirements of Michigan law. And if you think about referendum petitions, there's a lot of issues with, state ballot questions. The forms are very, very regulated by state law. They're required to have certain language, be on a certain size. There's disclaimers and warnings. There's things about the circulator signature and the timing of them signing it. There needs to be warnings for the people who sign it. And there's a long list of things in the Michigan statutes that and there are forms of petitions that are available. What was submitted was a very simple petition form that had blanks for signatures, and it had 2 lines at the top, and then somebody signed it circulating it. But it didn't meet most of those requirements under Michigan law for the form to be a valid form. And if you think about, you know, how many times you hear during the state questions, just the tiniest little detail, like the font size not being right, is the kind of thing that the courts throw these things out of. Well, there's like 6 main requirements, and, you know, really none of the 6 really important ones were on this particular form. So the petitions aren't sufficient because, first, there weren't enough signatures, but second, the form itself did not satisfy the requirements of Michigan law. And we have consulted with the city staff on this as this was going, and we prepared an opinion that sort of identifies that, and it'll all be laid out and filed with the clerk's office so the people that did sign understand why, but also there weren't enough signatures. So that's the crux of it. There were 2 reasons why that was not sufficient.
Thank you.
So we do have a question. Will the community have to pay anything based on the water bond?
For the capital improvement, the water and sewer?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
No,
they may be asking, I'm sorry, they may be asking if, Zoom, they may be asking if it's going to be paid for through the water bill, maybe, which it is. But it's hard to understand what they're asking. Oh, wait, there's something else coming in.
It says in the newsletter that'll be about $10.
Yeah, so they're asking about the water bill. Yeah.
Okay, is there any other? Go ahead, Patrick.
You know, Mayor, let me just clarify that on the 2 bond issues on that. So the bonds that were approved for the road project, that were approved by the voters, that allows the city to levy a tax and put it on the tax bill in an amount necessary to pay the debt service. So that will be paid directly from a property tax that's going to be added to the tax bills this July to pay for the road bonds. This other bond issue, which is for the water, sewer, and a bunch of projects, the city is not allowed to raise taxes at a rate higher than what it's already allowed to levy in order to pay those bonds. So the money to pay back those bonds has to come from other sources. It's not come from a special tax that's going to be added. It's going to come from the water bill and sewer bill for the water projects, or it's going to come from some other sources that the city has for some of those other projects, like for the roads and the ditches and things like that. Things of monies that are available to the city to pay that. But I think most of it is going to be, because it's water and sewer related, is going to come from money that's coming from customers of the water and sewer system that will be generated from water bills. So that's how those 2 bonds are different in terms of the repayment.
Thank you. Any other questions or concerns? I shouldn't say concerns, statements. Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Roll call, Mayor Garrett.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor.
Yes.
Councilmember Siddiqui.
Yes.
Councilmember Ferguson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. And then we have a...
Mayor, before you go on, and I don't know if it'll be the bond counsel or the advisor, how many signed copies, originals, do you need of these resolutions?
If I could get 3, that would be great.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and before we move on, also, I'd like to thank Patrick, Stephen, Sean, who I'm meeting tonight, and Bobby, you know, for all of their help over the last year. They've been instrumental in helping us figure out what to do and how to do it, and making sure that we dotted all the I's and crossed the T's and the lowercase J's. But you guys were really helpful, and we really appreciate all the work, time, and effort you guys put into assisting us.
Well, thank you. We enjoy working with you.
Yeah, I echo that. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. You guys did a great job.
Thank you.
So we're going to move to discussion item D, which is to add the agenda motion to also approve the engagement letters for the bond advisor.
Mayor and Council, so this is the letter of engagement for the Vincenski and Company relative to the advising on the 2 bonds. There's one for the general obligation bonds relative to the streets, and the other is for the capital improvement bonds relative to the water and sewer projects.
Thank you.
So I'll make a motion to approve the engagement letters for the bond advisors.
Second.
Moved and second. Is there any discussion or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Roll call. Mayor Pro Tem Cantor.
Yes.
Councilmember Siddiqui.
Yes.
Councilmember Ferguson.
Yes.
And Mayor Garrett.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now we've come to the portion. Well, thank everyone. I will say thank you to everyone else that has joined us today. I kind of say, hold on for just a second. Don't drop too fast, because I'm going to our favorite part, which would be opening up to mayor and council comments. I personally don't have anything at this time to say. So councilman, do you all have anything that you would?
No.
Not right now. Thanks.
I'll just say one thing. You know, I always have to say something, Kelly, right? I just want to reiterate, and I think this is going to be something I'm going to say at every meeting. Just remind residents that if you have questions, you have concerns, you can reach out to any one of us. You can reach out to the city administration. I mean, just since last week, you know, again, you know, reading some of the stuff online, there's just so much misinformation that's going out there, and people are getting so angry with one another over things that just aren't true. And a lot of this could be avoided if people would just, you know, come to meetings, come to council meetings, come to study sessions, talk to your city council people. We're all available by email, by phone, by text, and it will avoid a lot of frustration for people and save them a lot of time. So again, we just encourage you, come to us if you have questions, please.
And just
or concerns.
And just to piggyback off of that, and it's real hard, but then it's in my nature. We cannot respond to Facebook questions, concerns on the villager. And I have to echo what Bruce is saying, because there is tons of information that is incorrect. And I'm going to leave it at that. Yeah. I'm just going to learn how to stop. Okay, so I'm going to move to public comment. I see that we do have some attendees tonight. Is there anyone that would like to speak? If you do, either type it in the chat or the Q&A, or raise your hand. Is there anyone that would like to speak? I'm just trying to wait for you to look for the raise your hand. If you throw your cursor over the bottom of the Zoom, you can raise your hand there, do the Q&A, and open the chat also. Anybody? Okay, well then I will call for adjournment. This is shocking. Okay.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Thank you all for joining us then. That you all have a great night. I'm in pure shock right now, but I won't keep it. I'm gonna leave. Okay, you all have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Take care.